A long time ago in a distant and affluent kingdom, there lived a wealthy king with a beautiful daughter named Afio. She was of marriageable age and all the young men in the country desired to marry her. However, Afio rejected every proposal, even from the richest old men, dismissing them as old and unattractive. Her pride and vanity knew no bounds. Despite her parents' repeated pleas, Afio refused to marry anyone from her land. She declared that she would only marry a rich prince from a far-off kingdom, one of the most handsome men in the world, strong and perfect in every way and capable of loving her properly. This disobedience greatly grieved her parents. One day, commotion erupted in the village. People wondered what was happening. Soon, the news reached the palace. A very fine man, more handsome than any of the natives, had been seen in the market. Afio rushed to the market and immediately fell in love with the most handsome man she had ever seen. She invited him to her home, and the prince, delighted, accompanied her. Upon arrival, Afio introduced the handsome prince to her parents. The prince immediately asked for their consent to marry their daughter. Initially, they refused, not wanting her to marry a stranger. However, they eventually agreed. The prince stayed with Afio for 2 days in her parents' house and then expressed his desire to take his wife back to his distant country. Afio agreed despite her parents' attempts to dissuade her. Determined, she set off with her new husband, leaving the king and the queen saddened. After several days of travel, Afio and her husband crossed the border between human land and the spirit land. Strange things began to happen. One man demanded the prince's legs, another his head, and the next his body until the prince was left with nothing but a skull. Terrified, Afio realized her handsome prince was not what he seemed. The skull prince laughed and revealed that she was now seeing him in his true form. He had borrowed body parts from other spirits to appear human when he asked for her hand in marriage. In reality, he was merely a human skull. Afio wanted to return home, but the skull prince refused and ordered her to follow him. They arrived at the skull's house, where his mother, an old woman who could barely move, lived. Afio tried her best to help her, cooking food, fetching water, and collecting firewood. The old woman, grateful for Afio's kindness, grew fond of her. One day, feeling sorry for Afio, the old woman decided to help her return home. She promised to send Afio back to her country if she vowed to obey her parents in the future. Afio agreed. The old woman then called upon a clever spider to dress Afio's hair in the latest fashion and presented her with anklets and other gifts in gratitude for her kindness. Using her spiritual powers, the old woman summoned the breeze to gently carry Afio back to her father's kingdom. Soon, the breeze deposited Afio outside her home. When the king and the queen saw their daughter, they were overjoyed, having thought her lost for months. The kingdom celebrated with feasting and dancing for 8 days and nights. Afterwards, the king enacted a law forbidding parents from allowing their daughters to marry strangers from distant lands. Eventually, a prince from a neighboring village asked for Afio's hand in marriage. She willingly consented, lived happily with him for many years, and had many children.